I am keeping my hands up here where you can see them because last time it was the new year, I started banging on a pot and sent dogs flying to the roof. I sent kids screaming and people spitting out their coffee onto their laptops. So I'm just showing you I don't have anything. And I'm excited to be back with you. And yeah, it's been a time. It's been some time. It's been some time. I have a lot to talk about. Happy New Year. Let's get into it. Take 50 something. Good peacemakers, welcome back to another episode of the Piece for Peace Crafting Podcast. I'm Michael, and this is my crafty corner of the YouTube universe. If you would like to find me on other social media platforms, you can do so by checking me out over on Ravelry as Piece for Peace Craft. That's with a 4, not F-O-R. Or you can find me on Instagram as Piece for Peace Crafting. And if you like music, sorry, it's been a minute, so I feel very out of practice. If you are into music, you can go over to Spotify, and there is a playlist that's connected with the podcast. That's Piece for Peace Crafting Podcast playlist. Remember that it is a 4, like the number 4, and not spelled out any version of 4. Yeah. I think that's it. If you're new, welcome. I hope you enjoy the content that I have to bring for you today. And if you are returning, what's good, y'all? You already know what's up. I don't say this very much anymore, but if while you're watching this video, you are enjoying it, please feel free to do all those fun YouTube things, like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell, yada, yada, yada. It costs nothing to you, but it helps the channel out and helps build more community here in our little peaceful world. So, what's up, everyone? It's been almost a month. Crazy. Since the last time I was with you all. A lot has happened. Some things look different around here. So today is Monday, and I was going to record this weekend, but okay, so let me start at the beginning. So after the last time I was with you all, I was still doing like work stuff in the theater, and then I actually tapped out a little early and went on a little family trip to South Africa for the holidays, which was crazy and wonderful. But I hadn't been out of the country in a while, 7 or 8 years. And so with the times that we're living in, it was making me feel very nervous to like go on such a big trip, but we did all the safety precautions that we possibly could to make sure that everyone was okay and we traveled well, and we're healthy the whole time. And it was wonderful. Got to hit up 3 of the major cities there. So Johannesburg, Cape Town, Durban. We went to a little area outside of Durban to go on safari, which was crazy to just see animals doing their thing in the wild. Yeah, if you followed me on Instagram, I definitely was like showing some photos there, just like of our time that we were having while we were there. It was really great. Yeah, and I feel like I needed it. It was just nice to get away for a little bit. To be in 80 degrees for Christmas, because I'm not used to that. I'm from Chicago, so like it's cold, it's snowy, it's in the negatives. And so to be in the southern hemisphere, to be summer, wearing shorts on Christmas Day was like crazy. It's 80 degrees outside. What is that all about? So when I got back, I came into this space and realized that it was a little bit cluttered and a bit of a mess. And so I got a new little unit to go behind me, following in the footsteps of all those other podcasters who have the IKEA set up behind them, but it was very needed. And in doing so, I realized that I had to face some of my hoarder tendencies. And there's just a lot of stuff in a lot of different places hidden, and like, I don't mean to be that way, but I am that way. And so this year, I'm jumping on the bandwagon, and I want to knit stuff that I have, because like, if you have been here for a while, you remember like I got all that yarn from my friend's friend who was like getting rid of stuff. And so like, I was finding all these sweater quantities of things and just like stuff around, and it was making me feel a little bit anxious. So I'm super excited to start the year off with some good intentions about how I want to go about making things this year. Obviously, I'm still going to be buying some stuff, but I want to try as much as possible to just like knit from here. So all that to say, I was going to record this weekend, but like putting this together, rearranging some things. Does this happen to you all? You like start one project and then it turns into like 5 other ones? Because that's what happened to me. I was like, oh, I'm just going to put this together and put the stuff on it. And then closets were being opened, things were being moved from room to room. It became a whole process. Here we are now. So I'm so excited to be back with everyone, to be sitting down. I do feel a little bit nervous because I feel like it's been a minute. So hopefully I'm not too awkward, just my normal awkward. I have some things to chat about today. I don't even know where to start, really. Let's start with some fun things, shall we? Okay, so last year I was doing the flasher socks. Oh, do I have the little... I don't know. Let me find it. Maybe it's behind me. Maybe it's behind me. So I was doing the flasher socks. It is. Flasher socks make a lot. Oh, sorry, the camera's shaking. All right, this is a disaster. Doing the flasher socks year-long knit-along. It's where we all wanted to make more socks last year. And there were, when I went and looked just a little while ago, there were 378 entries for the year. So some of those were comments. So let's say roughly 350 actual socks that were put in there. Although some people in a post had like several pairs. So maybe it was 378. Maybe it was a little bit more, give or take. Super exciting. I went through and looked just like on my Instagram to see how many I personally done. And I did 12, which isn't a lot, but it was a pair a month, so like that's cool. I feel like maybe that's what I said I wanted to do. I don't really remember. Anyway, I pulled the last name from the thing, and it was number 307. So that is Linda from Pennsylvania. And I don't know how to say your Ravelry name, so I'm not going to, but I will reach out to you. And so that is gonna get you this Savvy Skeins. What? Yeah, Savvy Skeins, and this is in the color Parrot, and it's an 80-20 with 420 yards of fingering weight. And I'm also gonna put in there this bag from my friend Carrie from the Creative Obsession. She ice dyed the, oh god, this color. She ice dyed these, and I thought they went really cute together. So Linda, this is coming your way. So that's thing 1. We love a prize thing. And then 2, I was gonna save this for later, but let's just do it now. Sorry if you hear any crinkling. Okay, so the next thing is My friend Nancy over at Trilogy Yarns. Oh my gosh, I just made such a mess of this. She was so kind. Actually, I'm going to take this out. She was so kind and sent over something because she is amazing. So she has like 500 clubs that she does, right? Not really that many, but she does a lot of clubs. And one of them is her Broadway club. So each month, when you sign up, you will get a new sock yarn. Or I think there's multiple bases that you can pick from. But you will get a new color that's specific to that month that is designed after a playbill. And so I believe that this was the January color, ? Nancy, sorry. And so the color or the playbill for that month was Be More Chill. So this is what the playbill looks like. Really cool, fun purples and blues. And then the yarn that came with it, Gorge. Do we see? What? So this was really cool. She also sent a little thing of Eucalyptus wash to go with it. And I thought that this was really cool. I don't really do clubs, but I do love seeing other things that people get from their clubs, which then makes me want to do them. I don't know. And so she was like, oh, would you like to see one? And I said, yes. And so she sent it over. And then because she's awesome, she put in a little something for you all. So if you go to Trilogy Yarns, that will be linked below. Everything I talk about will be linked below. You can get 20% off your first month of one of her clubs. If you use the code PEACE, like PEACE 20, at checkout, your first month will be 20% off. So I thought that was really dope. So go over, check out her clubs over there. Check out her other colors that she has. I've definitely used some of her yarn before and made some really beautiful things. So go support. We love our indie dyer friends. Yeah, get yourself something beautiful. A little surprise every month. All right, so those are my two fun things. It's been like 80 minutes now. So let's get into some of the makes, shall we? I have 3 FOs and 2 whips and a couple little things that I bought on my trip that I would like to share with you all today. So first thing, let's start here. So the last time I was with you, I showed you all some yarn that was from Stitch Together Studios. Sorry, just looking for their tag. Yeah, from Stitch Together. And this was in their Stitch Smooth Sock. So it's a 75-25 Super Wash Merino and nylon. And you get 463 yards, 400 grams. And this was in my local yarn shop. It's yarn, or one of them, Yarnify, in their exclusive colorway. And so this is what it looks like caked up. It's kind of blown out, but there's some really cool blues and red and black speckles on a gray base, or with gray. And I had about 31 grams left, so I used a lot of it. And here is how they turned out. What? These are so cute. I took these on the trip with me and ended up casting them on at one point. I actually didn't have a lot of time to knit. I brought like 5 things on this trip with me, and I was like, I'm gonna get so much done. There's gonna be plane rides and this. Child, I was sleeping, and we would, like, the days were packed. So I didn't get much knitting done, but excuse me, I did finish something else, and I cast these on. So these are 68 stitches. I did them toe up, so I started with a Turkish cast on and just knit them straight up. I put an afterthought heel in, and I did a twisted rib for the cuff for, I don't know, like 15 rows or something. The really cool thing about this is, in the beginning, I thought that they were going, just looking at the yarn, I thought that they were going to stripe. And then I realized that that wasn't happening. And then I was like, oh, maybe they're chunky stripes. And then I realized that it was pooling, but not in a, well, this one did a little bit more. Like this side has more of the blue on it. And then that side is like a little bit bare. But like, I didn't care. They were just my like go to sitting around waiting in an airport thing. And then once I got back home, I finished them. So yeah, these are thing one. Really love them. This yarn is a little bit thin, I will say, and maybe that's like what 75/25s feel like. I think coming off of using the Patton's Croy for a pair of socks, which is a much thicker sock yarn, it's almost leaning on like a light sport weight. This just seemed really, I was like, oh my God, this is so thin. Like these are gonna be not the best, but whatever. I love them, and not all your socks have to be the same. So that was my first pair. Love, love, love. Then my second thing, which I'm so excited about, just bear with me for 1 second, was another pair of socks, which I think the last time I was with you, I'd started, and I finished them while I was gone. What? So these are my Woolens and Nosh socks. This is my first time using Woolens and Nosh. And this is in the color, This Is the Way. I think I have the tag for that in here too. The woolen, it's the Targhee base. I do remember that. Do I have the tag? I do have the tag. So this is the Woolens and Nosh, and it's 90% superwash Targhee, 10% nylon, 411 yards and 100 grams. And I had 13 left over. And so for both of the socks, what I did was wound them up into a ball, and then I split the ball in half. So with these, I just followed the color repeat, and then once I got to like where I knew another color was going to start, or the beginning was going to start, my beginning was going to start, I just cut it, and then I had 2 balls, and so one ball ended up being a little bit bigger than the others. So I have 13 grams left. But these are pretty much, if I hold them like this, pretty much matching. I mean, pretty spot on. At the top here, you can see like I went in a little bit into the yellow, and on this one, I didn't. So they're as close as they're gonna get. Love these. I really loved working with the yarn. It made me want to buy more. It's just, it feels a little bit sturdier. Yeah, than some other stuff. So I'm super excited to wear these now that I'm showing them. So the same thing, I did these toe up. I did the Turkish cast on. I did an afterthought heel with the, oh, I started with the yellow. Sorry, I was like, why is that stripe? So I measured, split, did my afterthought heel, which came out to be just 3 colors, and then continued until one of the balls was almost done. And then at the top, I think I did a 1x1 twisted rib again for a number of rows. Maybe 15, maybe 18. I don't really. It was like, I'm going to go until this one ball is almost done. So this is my second thing. I love them. I'm so excited that I'm showing them to you, and now I can actually wear them. Good times. I haven't cast on another pair of socks yet, but I do want to. I'm just trying to figure out what I want to do. While I was rearranging this mess behind me, I found a little bag with some like KnitPicks yarn that I had made shorties with, and I was like, oh, well, this is already caked up. It's in a bag. I should probably just make myself a longer pair of these. Just because I want to like use some stuff that's in here. So I don't even know where that bag is right now, to be quite honest. It's probably in, like, there's some cubbies down here, and it's probably in one of those. So we will get to that when I get to that. Okay, my last FO is my Maia sweater. What? you guys, it's done. Although I will say one thing, which you can probably see is right here, this in has not been woven in yet because I was nervous that I didn't like the collar. So I was like, I'm gonna just like hold off on weaving in the in for the collar because I might rip it out and redo it. But once I blocked it and it dried and I tried it on and I had that moment and I wove in the rest of them, I like let it sit for a day and then I came back and tried it on again and decided the collar is fine. Not all my collars have to be the same. I was actually wearing my Anchor sweater, my boyfriend's size, by Petite Knit. And that one is a little bit lower too. And I had a black t-shirt underneath and I was like, oh, actually that collar on that other sweater is fine. So this is it. It's done. I finished it once I got back. I was on the sleeves. I'd done some decreases before I left on my trip. And then I just banged out the rest of it, did the collar, blocked it. You all, the level of excitement that I have around this is crazy. So if you've been here for a while, you know that I've been wanting to get better at color work. And so this was a huge project. I'll actually wait 1 second. I'll stand up so you can see. It looks awesome. Everything lays completely flat, which is lovely. I'm super excited about the hem. In the photos, it rolls up, and so I pinned them down so that they laid more flat. And then if it wants to roll, it can. But I just didn't like the big roll. So this pattern is by Emma something. Her last name begins with a B. I'm so sorry, I can't remember right now. But it will be linked below. It was from issue 22, I think, of Pom Pom magazine. Okay, there's so much to talk about. I think I did a little bit last time, but let me go through. I had to do a lot of modifying for this project. So not only was it like an all over color work, which crazy, why am I doing that? But like I figured now's a better time than ever to figure out how to do it. So this was all done in Let Lopi. Yes. So it's a worsted weight sweater, and the way that the pattern is written, it's bottom up, and so you knit a certain portion and then you start the front and back. Oh, no. You knit a certain way up and then you start doing like your armholes. This isn't giving too much away because you're going to steek the arms and the neck. I never steeked anything before, like a proper steek. I mean, I cut in my heels for my socks, so like I'm used to cutting the yarn, so that didn't scare me. It was just everything else that went along with it. So I put those in, and then once I got to where it said in the pattern was like, oh, now you should have this amount of inches done, and now we're going to start the top. I knew that that wasn't going to fit my body. So in addition to adding length, I think I did 2 repeats of the pattern of the chart to get the length that I needed. And then in order to get the armhole, I had to do another 2 repeats so that it would be, the yoke depth would be deep enough for me. So with that being done, finished it all up. I thought the sizing, I laid it next to another sweater that I love wearing, and the sizing looked great. Now within doing that, because I added more length for the armhole, I had more stitches than for the size that I was making. I think I did the size 2 because my gauge was bigger than the size that I wanted to make. So I went down a size, kept the needles the same, so I didn't have to do all that jazz. So I looked in the pattern to see, I counted how many stitches I was gonna have for the armhole, looked in the pattern to see if there was something close. Thankfully, there was. So the arms I did for the largest size of the pattern, the numbers worked out great. And I'm so glad that I did that because the sleeves are exactly how I would have wanted them. I think that was it. The only other modification that I did is you're supposed to do a sewn bind off on the cuffs and the neckband or the collar, and like I don't really care for those. So I think for the cuffs I just did like bound off in pattern, and then for the collar I just did a like sort of I-cord cast off. And I wanted to bring it up a little bit more. I thought about doing short rows in the front to bring it up, but I think it's fine. So now I'm gonna go in and I'm just gonna sew that in. But I'm like so proud of this because I like did a lot of math. It's a not, well, sort of a lot of math, like measuring to figure out like what was gonna be the right size for me, make sure that it looked wonderful, and just like really taking my time to make sure that all the floats were right. In the beginning, I had to like catch some floats, so making sure the tension was good on those. Steeking was so much fun. If you, in the previous episode, I talked about that, how you had to like felt the steek and then cut it. So like that was really like a fun new task that I had to learn how to do. And overall, I'm like so excited about it. It makes me want to do more color work. So like I feel, after doing this, I feel less scared. I don't really know if scared is the right, less intimidated. Maybe that's the word. And wanting to try to do more color work stuff. Like this, I can't even stop smiling. When I blocked it and then I had to leave. Maybe I went to walk the dog or something, and then my roommates came home, and I got back and they're like, that sweater looks incredible. Like, that's gonna be something that's with you forever. And I'm like, I know, I really hope so, because it looks so awesome. So this is my Maia sweater. It's done. I'm excited to put another sweater on the needle soon. I think that, and this is something that I've talked about on here before, is like I don't do resolutions, but I like to do like I would like to's, and I think this year I would like to do a couple more sweaters. I didn't do like a, what is that, year in review type video. I've been watching other people's, and I decided that it gives me mild anxiety to think about what I've made, but I like looking at what other people have made. So I'm not going to do that here. And mostly because I think while I'm watching them, I am enjoying it because I love to see what other people are making, obviously, but like it gives me anxiety, slight anxiety, not like debilitating or anything, to feel like I'm comparing myself to other people. Like when I'm watching it, I can feel myself feeling that way, and I'm like, you just enjoy what they've made. But like the amount that you make in the year is just like the amount that the person that's talking about it makes in the year. It doesn't mean that that's how much you should be doing. Does that make sense? I don't want us to get into that territory. I just want people to be making things, and however much you make in the year, that's how much you make in the year. And that's cool. But I do love watching other people's. I'm like, oof, that's a lot of socks in 1 year. Get it. All right, so those are all of my makes. I'm sure another sweater is going to be on the needle soon. We shall see. All right, I have just 2 whips that I've been working on. One of them is going to be really quick because it's going to take forever, and I'm okay with that. So one of the things that I did take with me was the MKAL from last year by Stephen West, and I put just a couple little sections on that. So all of my yarn is Murky Depths, and here's the little things that I added. This is like my other things are done. Let me just do a little bit. So while I was gone, I finished those socks and I was like, oh, let me just pick up for this section. Okay, now I'm over this. Let me go back to this thing over here, and then I'd be over that, and then I come back to this. So here's where I am. So I added the cable sections here. which I actually thought was kind of fun. For this project being so tedious, this part was actually a lot of fun. Just doing some cables. I thought they ended up looking really beautiful. And then I did both sides, and then I started the little straps in my contrast color. So this contrast color is Picante, and the lighter color is Celadon, I think, and the darker color is Destroyed. So I'm like halfway through one of the straps, and I'm okay with that. I think this is just gonna be like a longer project. It is, I've talked about this before. It's tedious, but like I want the shawl. So I'm just gonna keep working on it slowly but surely, and like I'll show it every now and then. Actually, the last time I didn't show it because I was like, I want to make some progress on it. So now I'm showing it. This is where I am. I probably won't show it again until I make a little bit more progress on it. Just because I'm not hyper focused on it. There's so many other things that like are piquing my interest, and this one, just with all the twisting and turning, is like I feel it to be a little monotonous. But like I love the way that it looks. So there's that. So I'm working on it when I want to. All right, the last thing I have to show you project-wise is something that I brought with me on the trip, did not work on it, and then cast it on once I was here. And I've decided that I needed a pair of gloves, and I've never made gloves. And so I was like, oh, why don't you try to do these mittens? And so I'm doing the World's Simplest Mitts. If I remember, I'll put in a picture right here, by Tin Can Knits. And what I'm gonna do is, Caleb from Drowning in Yarn has a really good tutorial on how to make them convertible mitts. And so I'm gonna use that pattern use that tutorial to alter the pattern slightly so that I can make them fingerless. I also think I'm gonna do the same thing for the thumb. We'll get to that in a minute. So the yarn that I'm using is, I literally just have the tag, here we go, is some wool that I got at Rhinebeck this year. So this is the Bare Naked Yarns, and they're Stone Soup worsted. There's the little tag. And the makeup of this yarn is 80% wool. It's a blend of Rambouillet, Colombian, Lincoln, Churro, 15% alpaca and llama, 5% combination of tinsel, bamboo, silk, and bison. So it's kind of like everything in the kitchen sink. It's a worsted weight. It's 230 yards for 100 grams, I want to say. So this is a big... for 113 grams. So you get 230 yards. So this is, and this is in the color, oh no, not dropping things. This is in the color, I literally just saw it. Oh, Marble. So it's a little pale. It has, no, it's a pale, natural looking color. And I'm holding that with, I don't remember the color, which sucks, with some mohair that is from Murky Depths. And so this has some browns and like rusty orange colors, some gray in it. So I'm holding those two together. I'm doing the largest size. And here's where I am so far. What? Look, all my charms on the back. These are from, I can't remember. Whiskers and Stitches, maybe? Those little guys. I love them. They're so fun. So I've split for the thumb. Is that a thing? And did a couple rows. And I love it. So I'm doing the large size. I only did 3 inches of the ribbing. The dog is being a mess. 3 inches of the ribbing, and so now I'm just gonna do a couple more rows and then some ribbing to make them fingerless. And then I'll go back in and I will add the little convertible top to them and do a little bit on the thumb and add a convertible top to the thumb too, so that like I can do all the fun things. But I really like them. I think the combination of all the fibers that are in the Bare Naked mixed with the mohair is just making for a really lovely fabric. I was worried because I'm making the large size, like I measured my hand, did all the things, and I was like, this seems like it's gonna be kind of big. And then I put it on and I was like, oh, no, this fits your hand. What are you talking about? There's like a pinch of space in there, but not too much. So people know what they're doing when they're writing patterns. Just trust the process. So those are my other whip. That these will probably be done soon because it is chilly here and I want them. And this was like a few hours worth of knitting. I think I did most of it. I think I did until the thumb gusset, like on the bus. Just like 2 40-minute bus rides, and then I wasn't even working on them the whole time. And then I did all of the thumb gusset and just a couple rows in that evening when I got home. So like this was really, I probably could have finished the fingerless part of them if I would have just kept going, but I was like, I'm gonna stop for right now. Just let them hang out. So those should be done pretty soon. All right, that's it for all the makes. Good times, Great Lakes, pure Michigan. All right, so the last thing I wanna show is just a little bit of acquisitions that I got while I was on my trip. Now, we were super busy because we were with family. So we were doing all the things, and it was holiday time, and so a lot of things were closed. Like, when we got back to Johannesburg, I was like, oh, there's this one yarn shop that I think is going to be open because when our flight gets in, the other one's going to be closed. And so we check into the hotel. Two of us get in an Uber and we like go over there and no one's there. We end up calling. They're like, oh yeah, the shop's closed. Like, sorry, it's not posted anywhere. I think people just like know it's the holiday time and so things aren't going to be open. But they were open the following day, which was the day that we were leaving. So I got up early and got ready and went over there by myself, like as soon as they opened. Just because I was like, I'm coming all the way here, like I should get some yarn to remember this trip by, and I wanted some South African yarn because that just seems like a cool thing. So I went to, the name of the shop was it was called A Yarn Tree. It's in Johannesburg, cute little shop. And the owner was so nice and she asked what I was looking for and I said, I just want anything that's from here. And so one of the places that I wanted to go in another city and I wasn't able to, they actually carried some of that yarn there. So I was like, all right, it's fine that I couldn't go to their shop, but if you carry it here, I will definitely get some. And so that was, sorry, let me just rearrange some things. That was Cowgirl Blues. And so I picked up a couple things by them, and all of this, you all, is DK. It's 100% wool. It's superwash. Yeah, there was a lot of DK and a lot of lace weight, like not that much fingering, which was interesting to me. So this was the first. So this is their tag. It's getting a little blown out. So this is the first color I got. There's, how much is in here? Oh, it's 170 meters for 100 grams. And so this is in the color Air Force. This is really pretty, like almost denim-y blue, which I thought was really fun. So I picked up 2 of those. I also got this other color called Rainforest, which is this really pretty tonal green. It looks good there. Yeah, I thought these were really pretty. I was trying to go with more solid things. I have a lot of like colorful or like variegated speckly things. And so I was just like, oh, just get some solids for some things. So this is Rainforest, and this is also Cowgirl Blues. And then the other South African brand, oh no, that I saw was Naughty Habits. So I picked up 2 skeins of their Superwash DK. It's a 3-ply. And for these you get, I don't know how much. Oh, 216 meters for 100 grams. So these, okay, so these are those 2. This is not as bright as it's coming up on the screen, but is like a rusty orange. And this one's called Tangerine. This is the Naughty Habits. And this one is called Little Stars. And I thought they looked really beautiful together with those orange speckles on the gray. And then just this pretty little rusty orange color. Yeah, it's way brighter than it is. It's way brighter what you're seeing than what it is in real life. So it's a little more toned down. And then I also picked up a sock weight yarn, which is their Knock Your Socks Off. It's a 75/25 Superwash Merino and nylon. And this is in, I actually can't read what the color is, but I thought it was cool. It's black with, it's black with some red, yellow, blue. I think there might be some some greens in there. Little blips that I thought would be fun in a pair of socks. And then the last thing I got was one of their Knock Your Socks Off little wound up balls. This too is getting blown out, but it's like baby blue, baby pink, and yellow. It's giving Easter. It's a little bit better back here. And there was no colorway on this one. It came in like a plastic little container, and I had to throw that away because it was taking up too much space. But I do know that this is also a 75/25, and I'm probably going to cake these up next because I want them to match as well. So I'll just unwind this cute little ball and measure it out, and yeah, go from there. So that was my haul from South Africa. I was really happy. My sister was really happy that I was able to go to a yarn shop at some point in the trip, because she was like, I know that's your thing. Like, I really want you to like have that moment of buying stuff while we're away. And so I did, and I was really happy with the things that I got. Yeah. Overall, wonderful time. Okay, the last thing is a music recommendation for this episode. And so since it's the new year, we should start off moving and grooving. So it's funny, I am recommending this because, let me tell you all a story. Back in July, I pre-ordered this album, completely forgot about it. And then the other day, I see a square box downstairs, and I'm like, I didn't get anything. Like, what is this? It must, what is this? So I open it, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's this album. And the receipt was like, this was purchased on blah, 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 blah. But I knew it was going to ship later. Anyway, totally threw me by surprise. I thought it was hilarious. So this recommendation is going to be the latest Sylvan Esso album, which is called No Rules Shandy. I love the little case that it's in, because the title is in black, and the rest of them are sort of muted, but you can pull it out the sleeve, and then all of the other songs are black, and then No Rules Shandy is not there. It's just parentheses. This album's really fun. They touted it as an experimental album for them. Sure. Excuse me, in their own way. The songs that I would recommend, excuse me, are Echo Party, so much fun, Didn't Care, and Sunburn. So Echo Party, what did I just say? Oh, Don't Care, or Didn't Care, and Sunburn are going to be my recommendations from this Sylvan Esso No Rules Shandy album. If you've been here for a while, I feel like I've talked about them a lot, but I do enjoy their music. Makes me feel like I want to bop around. Yeah, so that's all I have for you all this episode. I'm super excited to be back with you all. Happy New Year to everyone. I hope everyone is doing well, or as well as they can be in this time. Yeah, it's a new year. Let's be a little bit more mindful and a little bit more kind to people. Let's not compare ourselves and what we're making to other people as we're watching all of these year roundup videos. I'm going to continue watching them and just making what I make in my own time, because I'm me and I can only do what I can do. Other than that, yeah, I hope everyone takes care of themselves. I feel like now that the holiday season is over, I can get back on track. And now that this is taken care of, I can get back on track with doing every 2 weeks. So let's fingers crossed. And in 2 weeks on a Saturday, I will see you all soon. So until then, make a piece, spread some peace. Peace.